Hello everyone, I am Shivani Dhok and today I am going to demonstrate um, designing of a network or an IP phone network that would be supporting 5 total IP phones that would be connected using a switch and then to a router. So the network that today we are going to design would be resembling something like this, and we would look at the designing of such a network one by one, and we'll at the end of this video we'll also see how these interconnects can be visualized or simulated so that we can call from this particular phone to this phone or from this to this and so on. So let us start with designing. So let me create a new file for the same. Okay, so now I have a new file, and as seen earlier, we need three main components. That is, one was the switch, the other was router, and the other was the IP phones. So that we can locate from this tab which is at the bottom left, and here we can find network devices, then end devices, then connectors, then some other components, etc. And furthermore, in order to add the IP phones, that would come under this end devices. So total we need 5 IP phones. So let us try to import that. So let us have this IP phone 1, then second one, third one, fourth, and fifth one. So it is simple, we just need to drag and drop it in this area. The next thing that we needed was one switch, and the switch that was used was 2960. So that can be located here, and let us drag that here. And the other thing that we wanted was router, and the router that we are going to use is 2811, which can be found here. So let us try to just get it here. Now we need to connect all of these and configure them together so that we can get the network that we require, that is the IP phone network. So let us try to do that. So for doing that, we would be first connecting only one phone with this switch and with this router. So for connection, we'll go to this connections tab. In that we would be having this copper straight through, so let us select that, and from that first let us try to connect this phone, and we need to connect it to a switch. So let us select this switch and then connect it to this switch here. So let us connect it to fast Ethernet 01. And we also need to connect this switch with this router here. So once we have this connections done, we are not at the end, because we are able to see that these are the red lines that we are getting. So why is it so? Let us try to understand that. So if I go into this and go and look here, we observe that it is not connected. This cable is not inserted here. So let us first try to connect it. Yeah, so when we do that, we observe that this the earlier red arrows are now turned into green and this color, which would be again turning into a green color after some time. Similarly, this is not working here. So what's the issue? Let us try to go into the configuration of this switch. We'll go to configuration, and it was connected to fast Ethernet. Yeah, so all of this is connected. So the issue is not here. So where it is? It's somewhere here. So let us try to look here if we are able to find any issue. Then we'll go to switching, we'll go to fast Ethernet 0, and this was the place where we had connected this switch, and we observe that this port status is off, means it is not on. So let us click on this port status, and once we do that, we observe the red thing is now changed into this green thing. So once that is done, the next thing that we need to do is we need to configure this port or configure this router interface with this fast Ethernet. So let us try to do that. So let us try to do it from scratch. So I'll just exit from everywhere, and now we are here. Also try to exit. So this is the first initial thing that we would be getting, which is indicating that no configuration has been done, but that router 0 is ready for configuration. So for that, we'll first enable this router 0. So for that, we would be writing router 0 enable. After that, we can see that here we are getting router 0. So whatever we are now writing is for this particular router. Once we do that, we need to configure. So we need to get the configuration terminal. So that for that, we'll get configure terminal. And now we have entered the configuration commands, and in order to exit that, we need to press Ctrl Z. Now once we are here, the next thing that we need to do is interface it with the fast Ethernet 0/0 port to which it was connected. So for that, the command is interface fast Ethernet 0/0. Once that is done, the next thing that we need to do is assign some IP address and the mask. So for that, we would be writing IP, the IP address. So let us say it is 192.168.10.1, 255.255.255.0. So this is the mask that we are giving. And once this is done, then we need to say that we are not going to shutting down this router. So that is given by no shutdown. Once this is done, the enabling of this router is done. Then after that, next we need to do is we need to have the configuration of or we need to create a voice or what we can say DHCP pool named voice. So for that, what we'll do, we'll first get out of this configuration which was for IP address or this particular configuration for fast Ethernet pole. So we'll first exit from here, and then we'll go into the configuration for the pool voice. That is, we need to write the command as IP DHCP pool voice and enter. Then we are into that configuration terminal, and then we need to write the command network. Then it's IP address, that is 192.168.10.0, and its mask 255.255.255.0. After that, we need to set it as the default router. So default router, and the IP address that we had given to the default router was this one. That is, instead of the 0, it was 1. So that we need to give, that is 192.168.10.1. So this is my default router which has been set now. And after that, we need to give option 150 IP 192.168.10.1. Now once this has been done, we need to wait for some time to check whether it has been configured properly, and that can be done by looking at this IP address that would be reflected after hovering on this particular area. So instead of waiting, let us go ahead and do the further task. So once this has been done, After that, what we need to do is we need to configure the call manager express telephony service. So for that, we need to again exit from this DHCP configuration terminal, and after that we need to write telephony service and enter. After that, we need to tell that how many devices we are going to, or how many maximum number of directory numbers that we are going to give. So as we said that we are going for 5, so let us say we are going for 5 maximum devices, or let's say let us have one extra, so let's go for 6. So these are the maximum number of directory numbers, or okay fine, let's go for 5 only. After that, we need to give what are the maximum number of phones that we would be connecting. So max ePhones 5. Once this has been done, the next thing that we need to do is give the IP addresses and ports. So that can be done by IP source address. So this is the source address which was that of a router. So that is 192.168.10.1, and port that we are going to have is 2000. Okay, so I made a mistake while typing the spelling of address, so let us correct that. Okay fine, now this is done, and next we need to do the auto assignment of the extension numbers to buttons. So that can be done by auto assign 4 to 6 and auto assign 1 to 5. Okay, so this is the configuration for the router, and after router, the next thing that we are having is this switch. So we need to go for the configuration of this particular switch. Again, we'll go to its command line interface, and here it is already in the configuration mode, and here we will first do interface range. In which range are we going to interface? That is then switch port mode access, then switch port voice VLAN 1, so this is the configuration that we need to do for the switch. And the next thing that we need to do is again have connection for this particular phone here. So let us try to give extensions for this phone. So let us have it as 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. We'll again go here and after that what we need to do is we need to configure the phone directory for the IP phone. So for that, first we need to get out of this configure telephony thing. So for that we'll go for exit. Then we are in the configuration mode, and here we would be giving the telephony. So for that we would be writing ephone tn1, and then we would be giving it the number, which is 5. So we can see here we are having this IP and other things, but again we have got this line number also. If we look here properly, we can see the line number and the IP address again. Now this has been done for one phone. We need to repeat the process for the remaining five phones also. What process? The only last 2 lines that we have written, that is configuration of the phone directory for that IP phones. So let us try to do that one by one. So first I'll connect this IP10 phone here with switch. Let us try to connect it to this fast Ethernet. Then I'll go here and switch on this phone. Once that is done, I'll go to this router. I'll first do exit, and then I'll type here ephone tn2. I need to go for the second phone, enter, and now I need to assign it the number. So the number or the extension that I'm assigning is 10. Enter. So I will look here. I'll try to hover over this. So let us wait for some time because it takes time for connecting it with this particular switch and router. So till the time this is getting connected, let us try to connect the remaining phones. So for that, let us take this wire here, switch, and connect it here with fast Ethernet port. So now you can see here that IP address is visible, as well as the line number or the extension number that we have given is also visible. So let us repeat the same thing with all the 3. So here let us first connect this phone here. Then go to router, exit. Then here we need to write ephone tn3 number, and the number that we are going to assign it is 15. Enter. So let us wait for some time till this phone gets configured. By that time we'll connect the remaining phones. So switch, then to one of its fast Ethernet, and again try to configure it. So we'll go for exit. Okay, let us try to first see why it is okay. We didn't connect it properly, so this has now been connected. Okay, and now we have done this ephone dn4, and that is we are for the 4th connection, and we'll assign it the number, which will be 20. Enter. So the 4th phone is also done, and the next thing that we need to do is the 5th phone. So switch, and here we connect it to fast Ethernet 6, and next thing we'll do is its configuration. That is exit, then do it for the 5th phone and assign it number 25. And again we forgot to connect it, so that can be done like this. So let us try wait till all these phones have their IPs and line numbers visible. Like okay, so the line number 25 has been assigned to this one, so we need to change it a little bit. Okay, so let us try to wait for some time. Okay, so this one has got line number 15, this has got line number 25, and this has got line number 20. So for simplicity, let me just change its number to avoid confusions. So this was my 15. Okay, let me first do it, change this. Okay, so the error that popped up was we can't give duplicate names, that is this IP15 and this also IP15 cannot be done. So now I am free to change this as IP15. This is 25, so I'll go for setting it as 25, and this one must be 20. Yeah, so this is 5, then this is connected to line number 10, this is connected to line number 20, this is connected to line number 25, and this is connected to line number 15. So let me just rearrange this properly for proper visualization. And once this is done, let us try to see if we are able to call between these phones. So let us try with this first 5. So we'll go to its GUI like this, and let us try to call this 20 number phone using this 5th phone. So I have it here, and I'll pick this phone, and it says enter the number. So the number that I need to call is 20, so 20, and now you can hear the ring that is coming at this 5 from 5, and it is this 5 number phone is calling to 20. So we can just simply lift this phone and it says connected. So in order to disconnect the phone, we can just simply put back this receiver. And now let us try to call from this 20 to this 5. So for that, we can simply write 5, and we can see that it is ringing. So now again it has been connected. And to disconnect, let us switch it off or put back the receiver. Now we called this 20 number phone using this 5th receiver. Now let us try to call the other phones from this 5 number phone. So for that, let us first try with this 10. So I'll go to its GUI and taking this 5 and dialing 10. So you can see that we are getting a call here. I can just pick it up, and in order to disconnect, just put back the receiver. After that, I can repeat the same process like this. So I'm trying to call this 5, and again I'm getting this ring here. So this is also working fine, this interconnect. Then again I'll go for this 15 number phone. I'll go to its GUI and try to call the 5 number phone here. Okay, so if I look at 5 numbers GUI, I can see that it is ringing here. Okay, and same thing I can repeat with 20. I think we have done with 20, so I'll go for 25. So this GUI, I am lifting it and trying to call 5. So now it is ringing out to 5, and it can be just shut down. Again, we can have the communication between any of these two phones. Like for example, we can go for this 15 and try to contact the 25th line. So Now if I open this GUI for 25, you can see that it is ringing. So if I lift it, it gets connected from 15, means we can say that it is getting connected with 15. Both of their displays are showing connected. So this indicates that the network that we have created for this IP phones is proper, and we can call from any given IP phone to any other given IP phone with the help of this switch and this router. So this is all about creation of this network and simulating it with the help of Cisco Packet Tracer. So that's all from my side. Thank you.